Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because trust me, you don't want to miss what we're about to talk about today. You won't believe the insane things Chris Brown has been saying about Rihanna recently. It starts out pretty normal, but by the end, you won't believe where this conversation goes. Stick with us all the way to the end. It's going to get crazy, and you don't want to miss a second of this. When Chris Brown decided to open up about his past with Rihanna, everyone expected the usual answers, just the typical, "We've moved on, we're both doing better," kind of response. But what actually came out of his mouth? Well, let's just say things took a wild turn. This interview wasn't just about love and regret, it went into a territory no one saw coming. From surprising confessions to jaw-dropping claims, Chris went all in. Let's break it down and see how this conversation evolved from typical celebrity chat to something much more bizarre. It all began fairly innocently. Chris Brown was asked about his relationship with Rihanna, and he gave a calm, almost rehearsed answer, reflecting on how they've both grown from their tumultuous past. At first, everything seemed relatively fine, like the interview was headed in the direction you'd expect. Just when the interviewer thought they had gotten all the answers they could ever need, Chris started dropping subtle hints. He didn't say it outright, but you could tell that something deeper was on his mind. A couple of questions in, he began mentioning how they've both evolved, but he did so with a bit more emotion than usual. He recalled moments in their relationship, both the highs and the lows, and it was clear that there were things Chris still had on his chest. But that wasn't the shocking part. No, what came next would make even the most seasoned interviewer pause in disbelief. Chris Brown, the man who's known for his high-energy performances and swaggering persona, started talking about Rihanna's aura. Yeah, you heard that right. Her aura asterisk. He spoke in detail about how her energy had affected him in ways that no one ever expected. Chris described it like a force that pulled him in, even when he knew he shouldn't have been pulled. But that's when things took a turn for the weirder. Chris then began describing Rihanna as if she were some sort of mythical being. He started talking about how she had this power over him, claiming that there were moments when he felt like he wasn't even in control of his actions. The way he described their connection was almost otherworldly. "When I'm around her, it's like the room changes, like the temperature goes up, and my heart beats faster," he said, his voice growing intense. The interviewer, unsure how to react to this level of energy, pushed further, asking about how that made him feel. Chris, however, didn't hold back. He began talking about how he felt like Rihanna could read his mind asterisk. He said that when they were together, it was as if she could sense his deepest thoughts, even the ones he was trying to keep buried. That's when Chris Brown made a chilling statement that left everyone in the room frozen. He said, "I'm telling you, man, she could have turned me into something I didn't even know I could be. She could have had me doing things I never would have done if I wasn't in her presence." The tone of his voice shifted from nostalgic to almost fearful. It was clear there was more going on here than just a simple ex-relationship conversation. But here's where things really take a left turn. Just when it seemed like Chris had hit the emotional peak of the conversation, he casually mentioned something that no one could have expected. He said, "Rihanna has secrets, and I know what some of them are." Asterisk. The room went dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. The interviewer immediately asked what he meant, but Chris, with a smirk on his face, refused to elaborate further. The tension in the air was palpable. He teased that Rihanna's power wasn't just in her presence, it was in the things she'd kept hidden, things that even Chris had seen firsthand. He didn't say more. Instead, he just dropped that bombshell and walked away from it. Chris went on to talk about how their relationship was more than just love and pain. It was an experience that changed him forever. He said Rihanna wasn't like anyone else he'd ever known. In fact, she was beyond a regular person. It was as though she had the ability to manipulate his thoughts and actions in ways no one could understand. And yet, he said, it wasn't something that he ever regretted. He seemed almost at peace with the idea that he'd been under her spell. As if things weren't strange enough, Chris went on to make a jaw-dropping prediction. He said that Rihanna would change the world in ways no one could predict, far beyond music, fame, and influence. The way he described it was as if Rihanna was destined for something larger than life, like some kind of prophecy was guiding her toward greatness. He said, "She's a force. And the world's not ready for it. When she decides to fully embrace it, everything will change. People won't even know what hit them." He leaned in closer, looking dead into the camera. "It's not just the music industry she's going to take over. It's everything asterisk." The interviewer asked if he thought Rihanna was aware of this power. Chris simply responded with, "She knows. She always knew." And just like that, the conversation shifted back to a lighter tone. So, what do you think? Is Chris Brown onto something? Could Rihanna really be the kind of force he's describing? Or is there something more to this whole aura and secret business than meets the eye? One thing's for sure, Chris Brown definitely left us with more questions than answers. If you're as intrigued as we are by this wild conversation, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we're going to be following this story as it unfolds. You won't want to miss any of the crazy developments that could come next. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think Chris really meant? Was it just a bizarre moment, or is there truth to it? We'd love to hear from you. And as always, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more insane celebrity moments, and we'll see you in the next video. Remember, hit the subscribe button and share this with your friends. Let's keep this conversation going. The more people talking about it, the crazier it gets. You won't regret sticking with us as we dive deeper into these jaw-dropping revelations. Stay engaged, stay curious, and see you next time.